to my video.
This week's video, I want to do a reading vlog, and in that reading vlog, I want to try to stick with this month's TBR. I've already gotten one done. It's taken me, I don't even know what today's date is. I think today's the 8th, and it literally took me like 8 days to read There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. It's less than 300 pages. I'm like 99% sure. It may be slightly over 300 pages. I don't think so though. The fact that it took me 8 days to read that, I don't want to talk about it. I'm in a reading slump. The book wasn't bad, but I could never bring myself to sit down and read more than like 5 pages at a time. I finally binged, I think, like the last 100 pages last night, and it honestly felt like a job. I just wanted to be done with the book. So it's a vlog of getting through my monthly TBR, but also getting out of this freaking reading slump because I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it, and I don't even know where to start. None of these and all of these sound good to me at the same time. That's about as good as I can describe it. The first one we have is Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the second book in the Adrian Isolde series. I read King of Battle and Blood the end of last year, I think, which, lucky for me, I was still in my time of using Notion, and I did write out as I was reading like the things that I thought would be important, which I'm glad because I can't really remember anything that happened in that book. So if I go into this one, I'm going to read my little notes first to kind of get a refresher on what was even going on in the last one. I remember loving Adrian's character, but this one has vampires in it. Isolde, I believe, is a human, and I know that they ended up getting in like an arranged marriage for like an alliance type thing. So yeah, I remember really enjoying the first one. I do remember that much. So this one is pretty high up in the one that I'm thinking of picking up, and I think this is the last one in that series. I could be completely wrong. I really have not looked into it at all, but potentially finishing series that I'm in the middle of. Next up is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This one really isn't high up in my want to read. I really don't want to read a romance right now, but I also don't know if I want to go into a new fantasy and start a new series, so I don't know. I'm so torn. This is a potential. Then we have Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. This one, again, another one that I really want to pick up because I've had this on my TBR for so long, and if it just looks like a spring book. It just screams spring at me. And last but not least, we have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I've seen this everywhere. I need to get to this one because I keep seeing people say that it's like their new favorite fantasy, and I want to read it so bad, but I don't know if I have the mental willpower to read this chunky of a book. But this one's also on Kindle Unlimited, so I could also read it on my Kindle, but I'm thinking about saving this for the end of the month because I go on vacation. No, I'm not, because I'll be reading Funny Story by Emily Henry. Let's be real. I don't know. This one sounds really good, but I did just watch Sarah Caroli's video on this, and she was talking about how she tried picking it up initially and just wasn't really clicking with the book, and that was her second attempt reading it, and she really enjoyed it. I don't want that to happen to me. And I don't know if I'm really in like the mental space to start something that's confusing, because she said the first time she didn't use the glossary, and so it was really confusing. And the second time she said she did use the glossary and things made more sense and she clicked with the book more. And I don't know if I'm really in the mental headspace for that. So with that being said, I think that I'm heavily leaning towards these two. I feel like 100% you can hear that truck, and I apologize for that. I think what I might do is read the first chapter of each of these and base it off that, because even reading the synopsises, neither one is still pulling at me. I'll get back to you on what I pick. Hold on. I need to try my coffee that I made. Anyway, on to more important matters. I decided to go with Queen of Myth and Monsters. I didn't even finish the first chapter in this. Didn't even bother reading Daughter of the Moon Goddess's first chapter. I'm just gonna stick with this. I don't know if it's particularly what I want to read, but I don't think that I'm gonna read anything that will feel like it's what I want to read because I'm in a reading slump. So I'm gonna stick with something that I've been in the world before, because as I was reading this, I haven't even read my Notion like notes. As I was reading this, I was starting to remember a lot more, and I only read like 5 pages in this. So I'm gonna stick with something that I've been in the world before. I know the characters. I don't want to start something new. When I'm in a reading slump, I typically go for fantasy because it's my comfort genre, but I don't like to start new things where I have to learn the whole world, all the characters, their background, the politics behind it. I need something that I've read it before, I know what's going on. It just seems like the safe way to go. I am kind of busy this week, but I am going to kind of prioritize reading over all other things. I've done a majority of the things that I needed to do around my house. So hopefully it's just like a couple small chores a day that I really need to do, and I can prioritize this like after I get out of work. There's a couple errands I have to run this week. So let's just hope that I can get through this book and at least start and get through a chunk of another book. But anyway, enough rambling on. Let's get into reading, drinking coffee, the important things in life, you know? I got my little gold gel pen because I felt like that was a good combo with this. Okay, one thing, and I'm hoping that maybe it's just like the start of this book, but one thing that is already kind of bugging me is I'm only 12 pages in, and there's already been a spicy scene that was like a full page long, and it's literally like a page and a half, maybe 2 pages later, and they're already like not fully into the spicy scene, but like they're talking about it again. I'm hoping this one has a little bit more plot. It is now like a week since I first started this video. It is now Monday. I don't remember what day. I don't remember if I started Sunday or Monday last week, but I plan on this video only being a week long, but that's not at all how it went. My reading slump is just getting worse and worse. I really just like don't have the motivation to pick any books up. I'm not trying to force myself to read like hours on a day, but I am trying to force myself to at least sit down and read a little bit every single day, because I do want to. I feel like if I just completely drop off with reading, it's not really the right way to get out of a reading slump for me personally. If I do that, I literally will just go like 3 weeks without reading, and then I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe how that works for me. So anyway, I'm still in the middle of reading Don't Let Me Fall by Kelsey Ray. I am only 35% of the way through, which is 122 pages in, and this has taken me forever. I don't want to end this video without finishing a book. I just can't do that. And this last week, I had some time to read, but I was kind of busy. And this next week is gonna be kind of the same way. I've been helping my mom out because she did end up having to go to the hospital for 3 days because of COVID. And so she just has not been able to really like keep up with everything. So I've just been trying to go over there and help out. Wednesday is my birthday, so I know that day I'm not really gonna end up reading a lot. And then I've also been trying to like get my garden up and going. So it's just been kind of like a lot of all over the place, where I'll get like 5 minutes here and there to like sit down and read, but I don't really have any opportunities to really sit down and put my full focus into reading. So I'm sure editing me put in the clip of me trying to lay down and read, and all you can hear is my daughter in the background singing It's Party Time. It's been chaotic. Anyway, that's a long enough rant. So I'm gonna keep this video going throughout this week, because I know that I'm not gonna have a lot of time to really do anything else. And like I said, I just really want to finish at least one book in this video. So I think I'm going to, I don't know, this book isn't bad. It definitely does have like a couple moments in it that are like corny and cheesy that kind of make me not really connect with the book, but overall I am enjoying it. It's pretty good. Easy to read, easy to follow along, not a lot of like thinking power has to go behind it, but also, I don't know, I'm in like this weird mood. I kind of want to go back to reading Queen of Myth and Monsters, but I don't know because I'm still not really in the mood to read a book that has like a spice scene in it every couple of pages, but at the same time, my mind is nagging at me to find out how this book ends. So I don't really know what I'm gonna continue with today. So, you know, if you see me reading on my Kindle, you'll know I went with Don't Let Me Fall or that. I forgot this was coming today. So I'm gonna open it with you guys. I got the Waterstones edition of Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is the one that is from Dina's point of view. So you get to kind of see, I believe this is during the time that Powerless was happening, and you get to kind of see like what she was doing while she was in the castle. And so I am both excited and terrified to get into this one, because if you've read Powerless, you know. So I'm excited to get to this, and this edition is so cute. Hopefully this gets me out of my reading slump that I've been in, and I'm gonna go ahead and put Don't Let Me Fall, whatever that one's called, whatever the one I was reading on my Kindle. We're gonna put that one on the back burner, and I'm going to start this one. Okay, so it's now Thursday. Yesterday was my birthday, so I really didn't have any time to sit down and read. I think I ended up reading last night, and I only got like 32 pages read, if give or take. I did go to the bookstore, and I meant to record the bookstore, but yeah, that didn't happen. But I did get just 4 books, so I figured that we would do like a mini book haul. The first one I picked up is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, which I've seen this quite a bit now. So this one, you're in London, and it's like the Bridgerton theme of like when it's the season, young girls end up going and presenting themselves to society and trying to find a suitable husband for themselves. So you're following Theodora, who gets cursed by a fairy, and she no longer feels like embarrassment. So that has led her into a lot of scandals in society. But then she ends up meeting Elias, which he is like the most unliked man in society, and he learns of her condition and ends up dragging her into more like dangerous fairy affairs. And it says, if her reputation can survive both her curse and her sudden connection with the least liked man in all high society, then she and her family may yet reclaim their normal place in the world. But the longer Dora spends with Elias, the more she begins to suspect that one may indeed fall in love with even only half a soul. That sounds right up my alley. If we're being honest, I just got done rewatching season 1 and season 2 of Bridgerton so that I could give myself like a refresher before season 3 comes out, which is like what, May 16th, something like that. So I'm excited to get to this one. I think after I finish Powerful, this might be... There's 2 books that I really want to get to that I picked up yesterday. So let's be honest, my whole entire monthly TBR is shot at this point because I went to the bookstore. I should have known. But next I picked up Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I read Beach Read last summer, really enjoyed it, so I've been wanting to pick up more of her books and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I finally picked up Book Lovers, which this one is a rivals to Lovers, which I've kind of been on a kick with that lately. So this one, you're following Nora, and she is a literary agent. So she ends up agreeing to go to North Carolina with her little sister for the month of August as like a little girls trip. And her sister is convinced that she needs to just become like the heroine of her own story. But instead of any of the cute things that she had planned to happen, she keeps running into Charlie, who is a editor from the city, and they have met many times and it has not been pleasant. And the end of this says, if Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. So I'm excited to get to this because like I said, I did really enjoy beach reads. I think after I read it, I did give that a 5-star. I don't know if I would still give it a 5-star. I probably would. No, I probably would. I really enjoyed it. That is my first and only Emily Henry book that I have read so far, so I do really want to get to this soon. Then I got For the Throne by Hannah Whitten. This is the second book in the Wilderwood duology, the first one being For the Wolf, and I really, really enjoyed For the Wolf. I think I gave that like 4.5 stars, so I am really excited to get to For the Throne, and I do really want to see where this ends up going. These ones are like the more dark, grim atmosphere, which I really enjoy in a fantasy. So I know that in the first one, the like biggest quote in the book is, the first daughter is for the throne, the second daughter is for the wolf, and the wolf is for the Wilderwood. Which, after reading that, it just makes me enjoy that quote that much more. I really loved the first one. It is mainly plot focused, which I enjoyed, and you get a subplot of romance in there, which was really enjoyable, but I definitely think that it is the true subplot where they had the most focus on the actual plot. And that one, you're following our main character, Red, which these are like Little Red Riding Hood in a way retellings. It's like a dark retelling of it. And I said this in my reading vlog when I read that, it was definitely like a retelling where I just wasn't expecting it to go that way, but in a good way. Like, it really took me by surprise, and I think that's what made me like the book that much more, is it just wasn't like the typical retelling that I've read. It took like such a weird twist to it, and I really enjoyed that. But you're following Red, who once they turn, is it 18? They end up getting a red cloak, and they're sent into the Wilderwoods to be like the sacrifice to the wolf because they're trying to bring back the 5 kings. But it definitely has like a dark twist to that, and it just was not what I was expecting at all. It was just a really good, well-wrote story, and I cannot wait to get to this one. Then I picked up A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, which I have not read any of their books, and I'm excited to get to it because I have heard quite a few really good reviews on this. I haven't heard a ton of people talk about it, but the ones that I have seen have been really good. And plus it has really pretty like metallic blue sprayed edges, so of course I had to pick it up. So this one is a shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. And I'm just gonna read like the actual synopsis of this to give like the full effect instead of me trying to describe it, because I feel like half the time I'm really bad at doing a summary of a synopsis. So this says, bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish but dreams of becoming a warrior and of putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son Bjorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack, and it's been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation of Scotland beneath the one who controls the shield maiden's fate. Believing he's destined to rule Scotland as king, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she has sworn to protect. So I am super excited to get to this. I have not really read any like Norse mythology Viking stories, but I have watched quite a few of them. One of my favorite shows that I've watched was Vikings, and I think it's on Netflix now. I know that the Vikings Valhalla, which is like set in a different time frame but in the same world, is on there. But that one I really enjoyed, and I absolutely loved Lagertha's character, which is like the main character's wife. So I'm hoping that this is super similar to that, because I've been looking for another show like that and I just cannot find one. Every Viking show that I've watched since then just doesn't feel the same. But yeah, so this one I'm really excited to get to. This is the other one that I was saying. These two are both the ones that I want to get to after finishing Powerful, and I'm really torn on which one. I don't know. They're two very different books, and I don't know which one. I have a feeling I'm gonna end up picking this one up. So this is my prediction now. After I finish Powerful, which I plan on finishing today, I have a feeling I'm gonna get to this. But anyway, this I am on page 162 2, which is like probably 60% of the way through the book. And I am enjoying this book. I like this one. Don't come at me for this. I like this one better than I liked Powerless. I don't know what it is about Powerless because so many people gave that like a 4.5 and a 5-star, and I just didn't connect with the book. It reminded me way too much of The Hunger Games. I mean, like, there were scenes in that where it kind of felt like I was reading The Hunger Games. Like, I don't know. It was just way too similar for me. I didn't really like Peyton's character all that much. Like, looking back on it, it's just not, I don't know. I just really didn't care. I liked Kai for the most part, and I'm interested to see where they go with it, but I just felt like overall the book really wasn't like that exciting, and I just really didn't understand the connection between Peyton and Kai. I don't know, it just felt a little forced to me. I am enjoying this one more, but I am starting to get kind of bored throughout it. But I do love Adina's character, and I don't know, I'll probably end up giving this, like, my prediction is this is gonna be like a 3.5 for me. And I think I might have gave Powerless a 4-star. I might swap that. I don't know. I might swap that around. I think maybe Powerless might get like a 3.5 and this one will get like a 4. We'll talk about it when we get there. I'm gonna read for a little bit. I already knew that this was coming, and it didn't make it any less painful. Okay? I don't want to talk about it, and I'm gonna need 2 to 3 business days. Okay? Who allowed me to get this, to pick this up, knowing how it was gonna end? Rude. Those last 2 chapters, I liked this one way more than I liked Powerless. I'm gonna give this 4 stars, and I'm gonna go throw myself into a new book so that I don't have to sit and think about this in silence all day. Just be warned, and the ending's gonna hurt. Okay? This is your one and only warning that I'll give you. Anyway, I don't even know what to do with myself now. This reading vlog was a hot mess. I went for 2 straight weeks of being in a reading slump to picking this up and crying. I still slightly feel like I'm in a reading slump, but I feel better than I did. At least I want to pick up another book. It may not be for the right reasons, but I do nonetheless. So I'm not gonna call this a successful 2 weeks of reading. Anyway, that's all I have for you, sadly. I'm gonna cut this reading vlog off here. We finally finished a book and gave it 4 stars. It may have made me cry at the end. We finally finished one. It only took me 2 weeks to finally finish a book. But like I said, I liked this one a lot more than Powerless. And I liked Adina in the first one, and I had hoped that I would have gotten to see more of her. So I was glad that I got this. I have no words. My brain is not working right now, so I'm just gonna cut it off here. Let me know if you've read this yet. I know that the UK version came out, I think it was the 11th of this month, and I think the US version doesn't come out until the 30th of this month, if I remember correctly. I think you can get it on Kindle though. Let me know if you ended up picking this up, if you have read it, what you thought about it, or if you do have plans to pick this up. But thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all my future videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!